Welcome back to the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast. On today's show, we have a friend of the show. He's back again, fifth, sixth, seventh, 10th time, I don't know. Spencer Miles, president of Pacific Lamp, and we're going to get into what's happening in distribution right now in the lighting industry and all that kind of thing. But before we go there, we are really excited about light efficient design, led-llc.com. Greggy, what do they got coming out hot right now?
Well, they've got what they say is a bollard retrofit. Now, I see this thing, and I think it can go in a lot more than just bollards, but it's an LED corn cob, right? And everybody says they have one, and it's all cute and all that, but light efficient design is a real deal when it comes to it. They are the first person I ever saw back in 2000, maybe 14, something like that came out with this. And then everybody came out with it after they did. So number one is that they have the history with this type of light bulb. But in addition to that, here's what they write right here: is they're pre-tested and potted drivers are burnt in 3 times prior to shipping and protected against vibration and moisture. Very important in this application. Another thing, expertly engineered to work efficiently in enclosed fixtures, damp environments, while also protected against insects and dust. Now, not everybody's cob does that. I would say most don't.
Spencer, it sounds like somebody thought it through, brother.
I've had them come back full of bugs. It's a great idea.
Yeah. You know, and you know what the thing is, like, they're leaders, man. They're innovators. They're people that are always ahead on that, on that weird application. Where they were the first ones to have the hazardous cob too, right? They were the first ones with that too. Class 1, Div 2, or whatever that stuff is. LED-LLC.com, coming in hot, light efficient design.
I forgot the most important part too. It's flex color, 3K, 4K, 5K. Come on.
All in the lamp?
All in one lamp. Well, they have
lamp.
5 different wattages. 1, 2, 3,
All right.
4. Yeah, 5, 4. Awesome.
Tell the DLC to keep up with that. Hey, Spencer Miles, what's happening, brother?
Not much. How you guys been?
Woo. Interesting times.
Yeah, surviving.
For me, you know what I have really struggled with, and I don't know, Greg and Spencer, if you guys have had this at all as a distributor, is the brakes being put on all the time, and then go, and then the brakes, and then go, and I don't know, man. I don't know if we can handle it anymore. Stop, start, lockdown, not lockdown. Hotels are open, hotels are closed. This is crazy for business, Spencer Miles.
That you put it perfectly. That's kind of been the last year, right? We did have to stop, and then you start back up, and then every time there's a rise in cases, whatever it may be, or politician says something, you're right, we stop. And it's like a train with very hard brakes. Been crazy.
It's so hard to get a feel for it, and all this essential stuff. I mean, look, light bulbs are essential in my mind, but people need to see stuff when it's dark. But I mean, the cadence,
Crucial.
The cadence of the economy now is so jerky that it's impossible to know how many people you need, how many boxes you're going to ship today, how many light bulbs you need to keep in stock, Eric.
Yeah, I think it helped us or made us all become more efficient with our business. Like, number one, we want to be, or we are essential, right? Lighting is essential. But now you got to look at it and say, okay, what's essential for my business to run as efficiently as it can? And that's been difficult to assess right now because, like you said, it's starting and stopping and going and coming and whatever. I think all you can do right now is just, move forward, keep plowing ahead, and let all that stuff take care of itself. What happens, happens. But you got to do the best you can on becoming more efficient with what you've got and plowing forward that way.
So some jurisdictions are tighter than others, and I know that that Washington's been pretty tight, and Minnesota's been pretty loose, and Ontario's been pretty tight. How have you dealt with Spencer? How have you dealt with the changing, ever-changing regulations and the ever-changing timelines, and we're thinking it might be the 16th of February kind of thing? How do you deal with that as a business owner?
I think the key is you got to be in multiple verticals, right? We're in new construction, we're in TIs, we're in MRO, we're in retail. We do a little bit of everything. With each, besides the March shutdown, which was, brakes on life, everything stopped. There's always been an industry or two that is still either in that portion of their going while another one's stopping, or they never stopped. So there's, you have to focus your people and your resources to that industry. Like let's say the ESCO government stuff that, we had a crazy election that caused some problems on the government side. A lot of money was put on hold, a lot of projects stopped. So then you have to refocus that maybe into your local, where all of a sudden at the same time, maybe we were coming up, we were opening industries, and those people needed, lighting again because they got people back in their locations. So it's just been, you jump from here, jump from there. It's like a little bit of Frogger, right? Which lane are you in, and where are you going to focus all of your energy at that certain time?
Frogger.
It's not easy.
It's exactly what it is.
There's just a lot of cars.
Frogger. Yeah, Frogger. Boop, 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 boop. We're playing Frogger. Jump this way, jump that way. Okay, I have to ask you, the Pacific Northwest has been, and Minnesota as well, but Minnesota has been like the nuclear bombs, and then the Pacific Northwest has been the trench warfare of what's happened in the last year. And avoiding all the politics and all the stuff involved in that, just keeping that, setting that aside, because this is a show about lighting. How has it been? So, like, I had a huge business in hospitality, restaurants, hotels, just selling them light bulbs, man. You think that's not a nice bet? That's a nice business, actually, when things are good. They order hundreds of light bulbs, man, and it's great. How has it been there in this trench warfare time with all the stuff that's gone on in the Pacific Northwest from, that you hear about, you see in the news, you think, oh my God, it's a nightmare. And then I talk to people, it's like, well, it's only one certain area. I'm like, what? It looks like it's the whole state.
The first part is you said it's hard to, don't be political. Well, it's hard when you're in here and a lot of it comes from politics, right? We have a tax, they're taxing our payroll. They're doing things to move business out of Seattle, which hurts all of us people who supply those businesses. So it's very hard to not say anything political on it, because most everything has happened because of politics. Mm-hmm. So
I would say that most everything has happened because of bad leadership.
There you go. Absolutely.
Not because of politics, actually.
Yeah. They just happen to be politicians.
Yes. Well, they just happen to have like some label they wear. But I think most of it is related to bad leadership. But how has that affected you on the day-to-day side as a business owner?
And probably the biggest one is, the people working at home. They're out of the buildings downtown. You have empty buildings that the lights are on. I drive by them every night going home. I see all the lights on, but there's no tenants there to report back to facility engineers that they need lights. So there could be 10, 15% of those lights that are out on a certain floor, but the tenant's not there. So they're not putting in the work request to the facility engineers, who's our customer, to order the light bulbs. So I have hope that when they do go back, we're going to get some nice orders, and they're going to need to eventually change those light bulbs.
You brought up what do you mean when they do go back? Is everybody going to go back? Is that where we're going to be?
No.
Because I hear, what's going to happen to some of these facilities? I know nobody knows the answer, but I mean, that's something as a lighting person you got to think about.
So, yesterday in our news, local news, Nordstrom, right, pretty big corporation, their corporate center, we thankfully 2 years ago did the lighting retrofit there, did all LED tubes, but they just announced they're not coming back. They're not going to go to that facility. They're going to leave their employees working remotely. That's a massive building. That's a 35-story building downtown that has now lost a tenant that took up 70% of their space. Wow. And you're seeing that. Nordstrom's is big because they're a Seattle corporation, but you're seeing that in the tech world. Google's, Amazon's, Facebook's, all of them, the same thing. So I don't know if they do come back. That's a great question. At least in the 2 to 3 year period, I don't see it. No.
I think everybody wants to go back, or go somewhere other than their home.
I think they do.
Interesting.
You hear the word in the First World War. You often hear the word attrition, the war of attrition, right? Who can last it out? And I just think that they're like if people like when I look at, and so when people that sell light bulbs, if you're listening to this and you think, these guys they don't know what's up. Everyone's going to remote work one day and da-da-da-da-da and this and that. I would challenge whether or not you manage people for a living, okay? Because when you manage people for a living, you can see that there's certain people that are really good at, like, for example, if you hired Greg Eric and you said, your job is to do this, Greg Eric would find super efficient ways to get that done really, 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 really quick so that he could do other things with his life. Okay? You know what I mean? But most people, the vast majority of us, need to be in the tribe. We need to be hunting together in the tribe with each other, present in the space with one another, and in order to be effective. And so some of that will be lost, like a percentage will be lost. But if people think that nobody's ever going back, then I don't know if you're going to recognize, like, lighting people want people back in those buildings to supply the lights to those buildings.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a future. I think we're at the absolute apex, if not the apex, the plateau, where people have had enough of the remote working. And they need to be with their teams, man. They need to be in a place. And there's some jobs that are not going to come back, and offices are going to be transformed a little bit. But there's nothing wrong with renovation. Pacific Lamp likes renovation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people need to congregate again, man. They need to get back together into these spaces. And the sooner the better, in my mind, Spencer Miles.
I agree. Absolutely. I hold fast with those buildings, right? They've built them. They're filled, or the office space is in there. Everything's done. Eventually they'll come back. Something or some sort of industry will start, whatever it may be. There's going to be a need for that space. I mean, what are we going to do? Leave the buildings empty? I don't think so. Hope not.
The idea that humans don't want to be with other humans is ridiculous. That's
True.
ridiculous to say that. Like, humans love to be with other humans. They love to complain about other humans in the office. They love to argue with other humans. They love to cooperate with other humans. They love to innovate with other humans. And they love to do it under wonderful artificial lighting that we provide, right? So I think there's going to be a hunger. I think we've apexed it. We're plateauing. But there's going to be a change, Spencer Miles. Are you ready for and Greg, are you guys ready for what's coming in terms of the renovation or the change of how people use those spaces? And what do you see?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I was going to ask too. Are the cubicle environments, are they going to go away? You know, that's how standard offices. I know they started doing the pod things, but then the pod things get all these people together. And now maybe they're going to go to individualized office and all partitioned off. And so either way, yeah, I'm ready. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm going to let them decide what layout they want, but they're going to need new lighting for it. Let's redesign. Time to redesign everything.
If you're redesigning, you need controls. So that's, I think, where if you're strong in the controls, that's going to be a huge part of wherever it goes. And no matter how it goes, controls will be massive part of that.
For sure. And we've talked about this on the show a number of times, Mike, as we've said, you know, at what point are we going to stop trying to retrofit the same fixtures over and over? And when we keep doing it, and I keep thinking it's the right move. I know it, because a lot of times it's the right move, but maybe now it's actually the right move. Maybe we have to readdress everything, you know, not everything, but a lot of the things. And at that point, let's get all new metal. Let's get all new housing. Let's get all new fixtures. I don't know. Maybe it makes more sense then.
You know what I see? When I think about it, like, I see that you know, you take companies that in nailed have always prospered, the vendor companies, people that makes stuff that goes in sockets that can be replaced. And now for the first time, we're starting to see advanced technologies that is socket based, just like the person, and I'm not giving them a free ad here to Light Efficient Design, but yeah, you know, tunable, wattage changeable, socket based, replaceable, burns out, you can change it. Guess what? Light bulbs burn out, sucker. That's why we're all here, right? But then I look at it and I see, wow, what an opportunity for human-centric lighting. We were talking about this before the pandemic, right? But now you're talking about re-envisioning every space, how it's used with, you know, giving people options and all this sort of stuff. What? The seam has just opened like this. The quarterback's dropped back in the pocket and the wide receiver is cut through the seam, and that guy is going for the touchdown right now, man. And I just see a huge seam opening up right there for human-centric lighting with controls, based with the controls, and on the interior environment. Wow, what a great play right now.
It's there. Yeah, it's just a matter of if it actually is going to take off, and then people are willing to spend the money that it takes to do that.
That's the big part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the money?
Well, the
Are they
money's
gonna pay
already
for it?
there. The money's there. See, this is what nobody gets. This is what I've been talking
But
about.
if you've already done an energy job,
Dude, you got to invert the whole. Remember when Peter Brown came on the show? He's like, it's not
Yeah,
330, 300. It's 300 first. You
yeah,
got to get the 300 back in the building.
back. Yeah.
How do you do that? You do that with hygiene theater. You do that with UV, upper air disinfection with the green light that says, yeah, all the COVID is dead. All the COVID is dead
feel
here.
good.
Big sign says we're
Yeah.
killing the COVID in real time. It's real time
Yeah.
killer COVID with that UV, and you could, we get a suntan if you want, sucker. Go for it. Hit that little app we got on your phone. Download it to your Android or your iPhone and roll with it. I see that so huge, like a future city, Spencer Miles.
It's a great way to put it. Hygiene theater. You should trademark that. That's exactly what you're gonna see. You're gonna see people investing into UV troughers, into UV whatever, HVAC, which doesn't help us, but any type of UV to make the employees feel safe about coming back. Absolutely, and schools that's a huge one, right? And you got to deal with all the parents, and so if you can say, hey, by the way, we put in UV troughers in each classroom.
Oh, you see that green light on that thing on the wall?
We're killing it. Yeah.
That means all the COVID is dead. Yeah. See that? When that green light's on, that means we got a fresh filter and the COVID is gone. Really? Oh, yeah. Because everybody wants to get back. They just
I
need
agree.
signals. They need signals that, what do you mean I can't go back to school? The green light was on the machine on the wall. And the lighting industry can provide that, brother. That's what makes me
It's true.
really excited, man. Really excited, actually.
So what do we do to be the ones to sell it?
First we got to do LS Evolve. We're working on that.
Because I feel like there's going to be a lot of people coming into our industry. You guys were all there in the early 2010s.
Johnny Come Lately's been killed many times by us.
It's true. That's what I'm saying. In the LED world, we remember it. All the people came in, wanted to play around, and then we killed them.
Yeah.
But we're going to have that again. We're going to have the influx of guys or gals that want to sell UV lighting that know nothing about it.
So
And
LS
here's us who's been
Evolve
selling it.
was something that we came up with when you were president of NAILD. That was, we want short hot blasts on current information. Now it's a reality 1 year later, right? You were the president. That was, I don't know if it was your idea or whose idea, but we came up on our board meetings. Yeah. Okay. That's a reality. That's only for NAILD members. So that's number one, that the best educational program on Humancentric, because we're doing Humancentric now, because we just weren't, Greg, we weren't sure about Humancentric right away. Like, we need to figure that out 100%. But once we can sell it, you got to join NAILD if you want to get the information, man. If you want to know what's up, you got to join NAILD.
That's what
So you're
all
saying
this is about,
education?
Yeah, I mean, education, everything we're all doing is trying to get to the answer so that we can, at the end of the day, go out and sell this stuff. We need to search for it, figure it out, because right now, I feel like it's coming, but it's not quite there yet. It's not 100% set, where you can comfortably go out and sell human-centric lighting. UV lighting still is not quite 100% confident. I mean, I know it's there, but yeah.
You got to get out of the head for the UV thing. Listen, the health effects, the human-centric, the circadian, I don't have it figured out yet. But I'll tell you right now that UV is about hygiene theater. That is what people want to buy. I'll tell you right now, without a doubt, the efficacy, blah, 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 blah. It's impossible to prove the efficacy because every space is different. The airflow is different. The humidity is different. The temperature is different. Everything's different. So people are not going to buy efficacy. and I don't sell anything that anyone doesn't want to buy. I only sell what people want to buy. The industry needs to deliver theater, Spencer Miles. Theater to people. The green light is on. I've been saying this. Randy Reed called me. Well, what do you mean? Michael, what do you mean? I'm not sure I like that. If it works, 3%, 5%, 10%, 4%, 17%, 27%, 36%. If it works, it works. All we need to do is tell people that it's working, and they'll be happy.
And we do that with the green light.
Yeah.
So have you started to sell it?
Nobody's got any fixtures that have the theater on it. You need the theater, man.
We have it on emergency fixtures, right? We have
Yes.
light. Mm-hmm. You just need a green light.
Yes, you need that thing that's like working. It's working. Oh yeah. And so welcome to our grade 2 classroom at super expensive private school. And oh yes, just to point out to you, do you see those 3 boxes on the wall? That's our active air disinfection system. And you see when the green light is on, it means that 99% of all germs that pass through that are killed. Yeah.
You bring up a great point, because I flew with a couple weeks ago, met another NAILD member, Corey, down in Phoenix, right?
There you go.
How
dare you? How dare you?
But when I was there, you hear a lot social distancing, masks, this or that, right? We've all heard it for the last year. Then you line up to get on a plane, and that changes. It's gone, right? We're still back in the lines. We're on that gateway to get onto the plane. You're inside the plane, a tube. There's packed in with people. And they're telling you over the loudspeaker, well, don't worry, every 2 minutes we're doing a blast on the air that's killing everything. Now I'm looking around going, no? How do we know that? That was great. Because they told us it. And no, guess what? That plane was packed. It was completely full front to back.
Yeah. We pushed the air cleanse button that turns the light from red to green.
Yes. So we're already doing theater.
It does something. No, seriously. Yeah. And people I've been ridiculed and ask Greg for months about this. But that's what they don't try to sell anything. Give people what they want. They want hygiene theater. Give it to them.
Spencer, have you sold any UV products?
Early on, we did. We had a pretty big national account that was making their own devices for their employees. So we did supply the lamps and the drivers for them to create their own devices. An actual UV. No, we've reached out to a lot of people, a lot of customers, a lot of schools. And, I would say your facility engineer guy or head of maintenance is usually, okay, that's a good idea. But it just dead ends there, right? There's no funds. I've sent it to the superintendent of my kid's district and said, hey, you could get back in the classroom because we are still remote. If you just put one of these in every one of your classrooms, right? It would, I guess, create the theater. And it just dead ends there. They don't, which kind of gives me the point that they're not truly wanting to invest into it. Or maybe it's the price point. I mean, it is a very high price point. And maybe, when you're dealing with schools, it's going to take 2 to 3 years to get it in the budget, those type of things, and pass levies to create the money.
Because nobody wants to go to school.
They need to go to school, man.
we could do a totally different podcast on why kids should be in school. But it shocks me when, because I've gotten into some pretty heated email arguments with the superintendent of our district of, obviously, I don't have the same opinion he has. And when I can present you solutions to get over your hurdles and you don't do anything with it, it kind of tells me there's other things that work.
No, what's what the problem is that it's not that there's other things that work. I'm not going to buy the whole the superintendent of education of Puget Sound or whatever the hell place you are out in Seattle. Okay, wherever it is, the superintendent of Stouffville, Whitchurch, Stouffville in Ontario, runs 6 schools. That guy's under enormous pressure, dude.
Pressure, yeah.
He is getting emails from teachers, or she is getting those people are that's like the general in World War I and the lieutenant on the front line just getting shot at all day. And he's like, hey, brother, I need more ammo here, man. I got this lighting guy calling me 6 times a week talking about his kid. Like, those people are just getting killed, and my heart goes out to them, actually. Really, it does. But the industry, we could, like, if someone would come out, if the IES would come out, or who else? If we could write a deal with the International UV Association. Remember those guys, Greg? Write a deal with them where we say, hey, if we have a certain amount of, because they have, everything is set for water. Because what most people don't understand is UV lighting was created and made to purify water. Okay? Drinking water. Okay? Or wastewater to kill bacteria in wastewater before it goes back into the rivers and lakes. Okay? So sewage for allowing it to go back into the water table, or drinking water for humans. So if you ever live on a farm, you have a UV light in your basement that kills all the bacteria in the water, right? And so the problem with that is that if they know the flow rate, the size of the pipe, and the age of the lamp, and the age of the glass shield that goes over the lamp, the quartz glass or whatever it is, they know the kill rate. So all you need is a pipe this long, and for 1 year, any water that passes through at this rate, all the bacteria will be killed in the water, 100%. Because you're literally taking that water and drinking all of it, right? With air, it's not the same thing. You're not taking all the air in the room and breathing it. Right? The standard doesn't need to be the same. Right? But we know that. And then if you live on a farm, you have this alarm in your basement. 30 days before the year end, beep, 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 change the light. Just like a fire alarm, beep, 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 change the light in your water purifier. Beep, 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 change the light. Right? You have the same signal. Right? Now you're in yellow. It's not green, it's yellow. Right? Once that hits the year, red, beep, it never stops beeping unless you unplug it and you decide that I'm going to drink water with possible bacteria in it. Right? Nobody does that. So what we could do as an industry, Spencer, and everybody would make a fortune. This is what I don't understand. We'd all get rich. We just need something that says, look, if you put this in the room, it kills this much at this rate. And in this many square feet, you need this many. Get after it, boys, girls. Go get them. And you would see a massive boom. But what we need on the fixtures is the lights, green, yellow, red, the alarms. That the filter is over 6 months. Press the alarm, change the filter, whatever it is, and go for it. If we could give people that, what a gift. What a wonderful gift. Beautiful. Beautiful.
I can sell you a green light, Mike.
You're going to have to go to some nailed vendors and give them this idea.
Look, Nailed has been supplying the vendors with all the good ideas for many years, brother. We just turned it into a podcast 4 years ago in Puerto Rico with you, right? So
great
we turned it into it. Like, listen up, vendors. If you want to make a ton of money, give people the theater, man. Tell them what's up. Whether it's 2%, 5%, 10%, 20%, it needs to be on the fixture so people can see, Greg Eric.
I'm with you. Well, let's keep pushing towards that and get to a point where we can actively sell it. I've sold a couple, and there's only been little robot thingies, Spencer. Not robots, but carts.
Carts, yeah. And what kind of facilities are they using those in?
School. The ones I've sold are all schools.
So the janitors just walking the cart around every day?
Room to room.
Oh.
I don't know, 2 days a week or something like that. So how effective, I don't know, but that's up to them to decide. I just sold them the product.
That's true.
So, in this last, it's been a year or so, right, since COVID hit, Spencer, has there been any pleasant surprises from your side on the lighting business? I know there's negative ones. We don't need to get into too many of those. We all know those, but has there been anything that surprised you and been good?
No, I can't.
That's fair.
I mean, I guess you could say the rebates have doubled or tripled because nobody's doing them. That's helped sales a little bit. Maybe the bright side would be from the business side. We've learned how to do things differently, so that's a positive. For the most part, I had most of my employees still here because we were under the number that you could have in a facility. But I've changed how we do maybe our IT or our server. I had to change some of those things because I had all of a sudden a lot more people remoting in. But business, no, I just don't see the landscape much has changed. I've seen slower, what do we call it, innovation from manufacturers. You're not seeing much. So there's a couple though that are doing well, like Light Efficient with that color changing bollard light. But I think the biggest part that has really hurt distribution is, and I hate to say this, is not seeing our rep agents. In my town, they're still not calling.
You lost
I know,
Mike. Oh, there he is.
I said it. At the beginning, I would have classified that as a very good thing, right? We all had a little more time. They weren't coming to our door every week. But as it's gone on, you're not seeing things. You're not seeing the programs. You're not seeing the stock orders, promos. And I'm seeing product now because I'm going and seeking it on the websites or I'll run across it. I'll be like, what is this? I didn't know this was available. So that has become, I think, a problem. We need them to get out of their basements and and the way I look at it, my sales team has never stopped calling on end users. We just conform to what the rules were, regulations were in the city. Why haven't they?
Well, I'll tell you that's true. Yeah, from my standpoint too, is I'm finding a lot more product that I'm hearing about. It's like, oh, you have that? Well, damn it, I want to know that kind of stuff. And who's at fault? I don't know, but yeah, that's something that I could see being an issue for sure.
No shows, no rep bastards. Love those guys. Whatever you want to call them, Spencer. You just betrayed everything, man. Okay, so we miss you, reps. Fine, Spencer admits it. He loves reps. So you were annoying before, but now we miss you. Your absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? But I would say there's a loss of serendipity. A loss of serendipity. The things that happen when people bump into each other and have meetings and have conversations and talk about things that. And the rep talks to the girl or the guy in your store that's new and gives her some beautiful piece of information that she was longing to know that couldn't ask you about, and all those different interactions. That's a loss of serendipity. And the serendipity comes from the interactions between humans as they roll through life. We need more of that. We need that to come back.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'd all agree with that.
Folks, that's Spencer Miles. Always a hot blast. 30 minutes. We cut it short. We get it right. But you know what, folks? Before we go, we got to tell you about LED-LEC, light efficient design. Eric, come on. LED-LLC.com. Super innovative, always hot, and big on the corn bulbs.
That's right, and it's flex color, 3 color temps in one, 4 different wattages, 122.77. It also says here for the Canadians, there's a 347.
I know they never forget about us. Nice. They never forget about light efficient design. Was always ready for the 347 volt from the beginning, always.
And I'll tell you that the design of it too looks different than a lot of others, including putting lighting on the top of the bollard or on top of the bulb. Sometimes they just put them on the side. So it's got true 360 degrees. It's got 6 Ka of surge protection. I see a lot of cobs that are less than that. And it can be mounted any old way you want. So great option. More than just bollards, but it's called the bollard retrofit.
Go to LED-LLC.com, baby. That's light efficient design. Our brothers over there, our sisters over there, we love you guys, proud NIL members. And of course, people that made it to the end of this with Spencer. These are some badass distributors here just talking about what's up. So we hope you enjoyed it. All our colleagues out there that have listened to this, got nothing but love for you. Bye for now.